Thailand, the land of 1,000 smiles and hidden wonders. Thailand is a stack of secrets, and most tourists only ever peel back the top layer. The beaches are real, but they're just the first page. Behind them sit northern mountains wrapped in jungle mist, dotted with gold temples that have stood for centuries. And then there's the food. Pad Thai was invented by the country's leaders in the 1930s to bring people together. This is the Thailand that waits beneath the postcards. The islands that do not look real. The south of Thailand is where the water becomes so clear you can count the fish from a boat. Koh Phi Phi Lay sits off the coast of Krabi province, and it's part of a national park with a long name that locals just call Phi Phi. The place itself is simple to understand. It's a ring of limestone cliffs that rise straight up from white sand, and the water between them is the color of pale green glass. The cliffs are so tall they catch the clouds. This is Maya Bay. You might know it from the movie The Beach that came out in the year 2000. After that film, the world started showing up in numbers the small cove couldn't handle. The coral underneath the boats began to break, and the fish disappeared. The bay began to suffocate under too many feet and too many engines. So the government did something rare. They closed the most famous beach in the country, and for years Maya Bay sat empty while the coral slowly returned to life. Now it's open again, but only a small number of visitors are allowed each day. Even the bay itself gets a break every August and September, when the doors shut for an entire season just so the water and the reefs can rest. If you stand on that sand and glance up at those walls of rock, you'll understand why people couldn't stay away. The cliffs block out the horizon, and the water is so still it feels like the world stopped moving. There's no noise except the sea against the shore. That's the first secret. But Thailand saves its best surprises for the north. The roof of the country. Most travelers use Chiang Mai as a door into the northern mountains. From there you can drive toward Doi Inthanon, which is the highest mountain in all of Thailand. It sits in Chom Thong district, and it rises above the jungle like the roof of a house. The national park around it is one of the most visited in the country, and it holds waterfalls that drop through thick green walls of trees. The water crashes into pools so clear you can see every stone at the bottom. Near the summit, there are two pagodas built in memory of the king and queen. They stand white and gold against the sky, and on misty days they look like temples from a dream. Down lower, the forest is so dense that sunlight only reaches the ground in small patches. But the mountain is only half the story. Just outside Chiang Mai, a gold temple called Wat Phra that Doi Suthep clings to the side of the mountain. You can see it shining from miles away. It's been there for hundreds of years, and it's only one of more than 300 temples hidden in these hills. Some of them rest deep inside the jungle where you have to hike through streams and vines just to find the gate. The north doesn't shout, but whispers through the trees and the mist. The mountains wrap around you, and the temples remind you that people have been climbing these paths for centuries. The noodle dish that built a nation. Every country has a food that shows up on street corners and in restaurants around the world. For Thailand, that food is Pad Thai. You've probably eaten it, or at least seen it on a menu. It's made from flat rice noodles, eggs, peanuts, lime, and a balance of sweet, sour, salty, and just a little heat. It tastes like comfort, and most people think it's been around forever because it feels so natural, but it hasn't. Cooks invented Pad Thai in the 1930s, which means it's younger than your grandparents might be. At the time, Thailand was facing a rice shortage, and the government needed a way to feed people without using so much plain rice. They turned to rice noodles, which were already common in Chinese cooking, and they asked cooks to create one dish that every Thai person could call their own. Prime Minister Plak Phibunsongkhram pushed the recipe hard. He wanted one meal that united the country, and he wanted it to feel like it belonged to Thailand alone. The dish itself is a mix of Thai and Chinese cooking. The stir-fry method came from Chinese food culture, but the flavors were adjusted to match what Thai people already loved. Street vendors took the government idea and improved it. They cooked it fast over high heat, tossing the noodles in hot woks until the edges caught and caramelized. The government wanted a symbol, but the vendors created the flavor. That char is where the magic lives. What started as a political project turned into the best-known Thai meal on earth. Walk down any street in Bangkok at night and you'll find a cart selling it for a few coins. And the same flavors that were meant to feed a nation now feed tourists from every continent. It's humble, it's cheap, and it changed the way the world thinks about Thai food. That's the third secret. The answer lives in Bangkok. The City of Angels. Bangkok is the city that holds all these layers together. It's called Krung Thep in Thai, which means City of Angels, and it's exactly as busy as that name makes it sound. The streets are packed with cars, motorbikes, boats, and people moving in every direction at once. But in the middle of all that noise sits the Grand Palace. Workers laid the first stones in 1782, and for 150 years Thai kings lived there. Today it's still the most famous landmark in the capital, and millions of visitors walk through its gates every year. Inside the palace walls, there's a temple called Wat Phra Keu, or the Temple of the Emerald Buddha. The name says emerald, but the figure itself is carved from deep green stone that glows under the temple lights. King Rama I placed it there when the palace was first built, and it's remained the spiritual heart of the country ever since. The gold leaf on the temple walls glints in the sun, and the roofs curve up toward the sky like the wings of birds. You can stand in that courtyard and feel the weight of centuries pressing down on the present moment. The city outside is chaos, but inside these walls time moves differently. This is where the natural beauty of the south, the spiritual silence of the north, and the national identity carved into a noodle dish all come together. Thailand isn't just a beach or a mountain. It's a living kingdom that keeps its past and its present in the same breath. Subscribe for daily escapes to the most beautiful places on earth.